Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday, May 17th, 2010. It's now 7:04, and we're going to call to order the City Council meeting. At this time, tonight, we're going to have Bishop Charles Williams from the House of God Pentecostal Church of Living Gates, followed by a Pledge of Allegiance. Councilman Burgess, if you'll do that for us, along with the police explorers. But everyone please rise.
Shall we pray? Father in heaven, in Jesus' name, we come before thy throne of grace, thy throne of mercy. We come with bowed heads and humble hearts. Lord, we come beseeching the God of mercy. You are our Father, and we are your children, and we are in need of your help. You said without you we can't do nothing. But in all our ways we must acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. Lord, we need your presence in the building today. Lord, lower them down in your storehouse of wisdom. Look on our mayor and our vice mayor and the ones, oh God, that is laboring over the business of this city. Oh God, lower them down in your storehouse. Crown them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that whichever decision they make, Lord, will be a blessing to the city, and not only that, the citizens of Homestead. We pray thy blessing upon them in Jesus' name. These blessings we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Honor guard, let's see, carry colors. Forward, march. Left wheel, march. Honor guard, halt. Present, arms.
Would everybody please join me in pledging this great nation and our great flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Please be seated. Thank you, Honor Guard. Thank you so much. At this time, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Burgess.
Here.
Councilman Lopez.
Here.
Councilman Maldonado.
Here.
Councilman Shelley.
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Walden.
Here.
Mayor Bateman.
Here. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to public comment. Do we have public comment? Please. Yes, sir. Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
How you doing? My name is Noel Barrera. My address is 2238 Northeast 41st Avenue in Homestead, Florida. I reside within Waterstone, and I wanted to bring up to the council some issues that your council may not be aware of. Ever since the operation of the new gates that were put in, that were positioned to the council as soft gates, they are operating them as hard gates. They have your officers doing off-duty work, harassing tenants and residents that live in their neighborhood. They are asking for ID. They are scanning photo identification, which could cause a problem. If somebody gets access to that information, you can have identity theft on your hands. Officers, off-duty officers, which are hired by them, are refusing access to your own plainclothes officers in their personal vehicles. That has happened. They are blocking the exit lane of the 137 Avenue exit with a parked vehicle sitting there all the time as a parking space. You guys are going to end up with a problem. Somebody's going to be leaving the neighborhood and it's going to rear end that and cause a problem. They also place speed bumps on the public side of the street, the one with the automatic opening gate arm. It's creating a nuisance. Basically, they're blocking traffic. They have harassed myself, family, friends, and residents. I am also the president of the POA for Portofino Estates and sit on the board of the Master Association for Waterstone 1. So when I speak here, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my family, my tenants, and in my case, similar to you guys, my constituents. I wanted to make the council aware of, maybe you guys can give some instructions, because I've called the police. The call reference number for you guys from yesterday's incident was 1013-60-092. So you guys can look that up on file as to instruct the police on what they can or cannot do, because the police says that legally they can't do anything. I have provided a copy of the Florida statute, which I'm going to hand out to all of you if I may approach the bench.
Sure.
Abel, can you please hand them that statute? That way you guys can all have a copy. And I believe that in that packet there's also 3 opinions from the previous state attorneys for the state of Florida saying that what they are doing, the way they're operating it, is incorrect and not allowed by law. I thank the council very much for your time. Go ahead.
Listen, I feel for you, and I haven't had a chance to talk to the chief, but I've also received some phone calls, and this pertains to our off-duty policing program and the individual who runs that program. So, we need to probably get together and talk. Okay. If you'll make yourself available, I'm sure the chief and I will be more than happy to sit down with you. And I say I because I chair that department. And I respect it, and it does a wonderful job for the city. So we need to look at what's happening over there on the off-duty side.
Correct. I have no complaints on your officers.
Yes.
I personally hire them as off-duty. And I will say, and I have always told all my friends, that the day I do move out of the city of Homestead, I will miss the way the department operates, because you guys allow your officers the flexibility to respond to problems as we had at the beginning there. So, Chief Rowe, I do commend you in allowing your officers to provide you the necessary information and the way that you guys react. I don't want to take any more of the council's time unless you have any other questions for me.
My questions would be, please, leave your name and address, which we have on the record now, but we're going to set a meeting up between the 3 of us, and we'll talk further. I know where you're coming from, and the chief doesn't. So the 3 of us will sit down, and we'll talk about it, right?
Correct. Anytime you guys want, my cell phone, I'll leave it with Elvis, and for the council and any other questions that may arise or concerns that you guys need, you guys can address me, because I do provide that section, Waterstone 1, with guidance and could help the council.
If you leave tonight, the city clerk, let us know what times you have for tomorrow, and we'll make a point. Yes, Chief.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Only thing I just wish that you do in the future, because this is brand new to me.
Call the chief.
Let me know about it, and I can deal with it. You don't need the mayor and the council to get involved in something like that. I run the department. I'm in charge. I need to know.
Okay. I was unaware, so I do apologize.
Okay.
I have had other police officers. I'll speak with you as soon as we break.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mayor. I'll say you.
Well, I'll speak up again. The reason I spoke up to begin with is because it really doesn't. The reason the chief is not aware of it is off-duty program, and that is run by a separate organization.
Okay. Correct.
That is probably why the chief is not aware of what's going on at the gate.
Okay.
So you see, there's a missing link here.
No, I understand, and
There's
that's
a missing
why.
link. It's a great police department. It's a missing link between the off-duty and the on-duty. Every day.
Thank you very much, Mayor and
That's
Council.
where it's at.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may. I've also heard of, I have many residents that have come to me, personally approached me on this incident. I've actually had some myself, so I'm actually working with speaking to our lawyers here in reference to that, so we could address the issue and address the issue properly.
Thank you, sir.
Just to let them know that we're on top of it right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, anyone else in the audience that would like to speak? Now is an open mic. Got a packed house tonight. It's got to be somebody else up there. Public comment. Something good. Powerful.
Something good.
Oh.
Something good.
Okay. Additions, deletions, deferrals. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
ahead,
Madam
please.
Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, I have in the revised agenda before you the Education Committee appointments on the year, sir. That's the only addition.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to move that, add the Education Committee appointments.
I move it.
To the agenda. Thank you,
Second.
Mr. Williams. Second. Thank you, Mr. Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we want to take that now?
If we could, Mayor,
Yes,
I
please.
appreciate it.
Go ahead.
Mayor, as the chair of the Education Committee, I know that I've been a little behind the eight ball here trying to get this committee put together. And I just want to thank everyone for the patience and the hard work. We finally made our appointments, and they are here today, so I would like to recognize them as they're here. What I would like to just state before we go on is that, in my eyes, education is the building block of our community. Unless we have education system here that is above par, we're not going to have the businesses who are going to want to move down here. We're not going to have the residents who are going to want to move here. Why live down here if we don't have a great education system? So I'm taking this task to the highest point here, and I've assembled the team of educators and residents of the community, and they're here to serve the Education Committee. So with that, these are my appointments, and
Okay. Would you like to name them? Are they here tonight? Would they like to stand up?
yes,
come
please, I would
forward?
like if they would come forward
Please
and
come
so we
forward.
could recognize them, and so that the community could see who they are. Dr. Valentina Brown, Alicia Corrales,
Come up to the podium, ma'am. You got a camera?
Cecilia McGrath, Michael, Dr. Jim Trantham, Carlos Salgado, and Willie Wamble.
Good-looking group. You want to get a photo op with him?
Yes, yes, in a second.
Mr.
City Homestead, I would like to introduce to you your Education Committee. These are the individuals who will be in the trenches working hard for our children here and for the better education of the city of Homestead. I hold them to the highest standards. They're all respected individuals within this community, and I look forward to working with them. Thank you for your taking the initiative to be on this board, and let's get to work.
Thank you. One second, sir. Let's hold up 1 second. We'll get a picture with the education chair, the tall, good-looking guy. I'm the short, good-looking guy. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, we need a motion to move this committee forward. Motion, please.
I move to approve the members of the Education Committee.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, special presentations. Let's see. Ms. Lobos, would you like to take the first one, please?
Hello, good evening, everybody. And the first presentation that we will be doing tonight is to Ms. Carrie Lynn LaTour, so if she can please join me at the podium. Now, Ms. LaTour is still with the City of Homestead, so we're not bidding her goodbye, but we do want to thank her for her service that she gave to the Mayor and Council. So tonight, we are presenting you on behalf of the Mayor and Council a certificate of appreciation, and it reads, "This certificate is awarded to Carrie Lynn LaTour for your untiring service and dedication to the Mayor and Council. The City of Homestead salutes you." Presented the 17th day of May 2010.
Thank you so much, Gary.
And Mayor, if I may, just give a little bit of history of her. Ms. Carrie Lynn LaTour came to us on January 26, 2009 as an administrative secretary for the Mayor and Council. And as of March 29, 2010, she has moved to her position as Buyer 1 in General Services Procurement Division. So thank you.
Okay, we'll move to item B, M&M Associates foreclosure presentation.
Mr. Miko? Mayor?
Yes, sir.
This is mine.
Okay.
Obviously, we campaigned in reference to the foreclosures. I went out into the community. This is a company here in Homestead that I've seen help many of our members in the community with the foreclosure issue. If we could have a few minutes so that M&RM and Associates can have a 5-minute presentation in reference to what are the services what the goal here is to educate our citizens and let them know of what type of help is out there, what they can do to prevent the foreclosure. And so I've asked Mr. Miko and his staff to come present to the city. And this is my first effort to get this going with dealing with the foreclosures. So Mr. Miko is here on my behalf for the city of Homestead. Mr. Miko, please.
By all means.
There we go. Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Michael Meikle. I reside at 2108 Northeast 39th Terrace, Homestead, Florida, in Waterstone. We run a small office out of US 1 in the corner of Lucy, right in the shopping center with Dunkin' Donuts and all the other good stuff. But we found that we've been here for about a year doing some good work, and we found that a lot of our residents are not very educated about how do they get themselves out of trouble once they've gotten into trouble. They've gotten behind on their mortgage, or they just have great difficulty paying the mortgage. We've put together a plan, and we've executed it, I think, fairly well. We've been able to help a tremendous amount of our clients who have walked in and have walked out shaking our hands, telling us thank you very much. What we have presented, or what we propose to present, is a free workshop for the citizens of Homestead. There will be no charge to it. What we intend to do with this is to educate them as much as we possibly can. We have looked at it as secrets they do not want you to know. And by they, I mean the bank and the severe and the strong lenders who, for some reason, one way or the other, are not willing to or just don't want to go ahead and help out these folks who have found themselves in real difficulty. We've had a tremendous amount of success, as I've said before. We want to be able to present this at a platform through the city with some of the facilities that you have available. It is a free workshop. It will talk specifically about what the things they need to do to get them out of trouble. For those who are behind, those who are having difficulty paying, we see it as a great benefit. I've lived here in this community since it started its resurgence 5 years ago, and my wife, my family, my kids go to school here. This is very important for us to kind of slow or put an end to where we find a lot of our neighbors are leaving because they have no other choice. If you look at some of the handouts or the handouts that I've offered, we have done a couple of samplings of folks who've lived in our community or do live in our community who have gone from $2,100 mortgage payment to $1,100 mortgage payment. And that's a significant number when you're talking about saving your home, keeping food on the table, paying your general bills, and able to keep up with your mortgage. So we want to offer a free workshop, and there's no charge. We're going to bring all the tools that are available that we have in the office. We're going to bring that to the workshop, and our crew will be there, our staff will be there. We have a lot of volunteers that are coming on deck, but we really want to make this a success if we could save one home at a time, and we can do that consistently, we can make a change or make a difference. And that is our ultimate goal. I want to thank you for your time. We do have the handouts. I also prepared a small disc which will walk you through the presentation as we have it. But any questions that you have will be answered. We're accessible. We're right on the corner. We have 2 offices, one in Hialeah and one here in Homestead. But this is our spot. This is where we live. This is where we do our thing. This is where we want to make a difference. And we want to channel it through the city and get this thing done. And as I said, if we can help one person out of the whole deal, and we're able to save one home, then we've carried a good message. If we're able to do 30% of who walks through the door, then we've done a tremendous job for the folks that are living in this community. I want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Mayor, I just would like to, through the chair, I would like to direct the city manager maybe to help him with the locations in Dennis. The free workshops that we want to provide, if we could provide it in maybe their new facility.
The community center.
We have the Homestead Pavilion, somewhere maybe the FICO Williams Center, and Councilman Williams, if you will give me a hand with that. And at least if we could do 3 workshops, they're all going to be free for the community. Bring your questions, your forms, and let's help this community get back on track. Let's make sure that we don't lose any more residents here because they didn't have an answer because no one went out and helped them in this issue. And so, like I said, this is my first attempt to help out the city of Homestead. And know with this information, information is powerful. So if we could get this to our community, I think we did a great service for our community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maldonado. Mr. Meagle, thank you so much. We appreciate you, taking your time and coming down here, offering your services free of charge. Yes, Mr. Williams.
To the chair, to my colleague, Mr. Maldonado, what time frame are you looking to do this?
They're ready to go. So we are ready to go. They
Next week?
Okay, my only logistically is to get the word out, so that's why I'm asking, because if I need to mobilize some of the nonprofits in my district, we need a little time, especially for Sundays, where we can announce it in churches.
Yes.
With the majority of the people.
They're ready to go. It's just an issue of just go ahead and set it out, make sure we have enough time that the word gets out, and so we could. They're ready to go, but as long as we plan it properly.
We'll put out the word by every means that we have available at this point, and we'll start moving towards getting our first meeting. Perhaps the first meeting can take place while Councilman Williams sets up something in the FICO Williams Center. Maybe we can start in another location right away. So they're ready to move. We do want to take advantage of that. We capture without leaving anybody out. The folks in the Southwest area can very well come over, whatever the other locations are. But we'll concentrate on those areas as we move along. So we'll start as soon as we can, as soon as possible, hopefully within a week.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Wallman.
Yes, I see Mike Dill back there, and I'm sure that Mike Dill, he's the editor of the News Leader, so I'm sure if you work together with Michael that Mr. Maldonado, he will certainly do his best to get the word out. I would suggest that we have one. I know you said 3. I don't know if you can squeeze in 4, but I would suggest that we use the community center, the FICO Williams Center, and perhaps I know I can say that the Villages of Homestead would be happy to use their clubhouse, and perhaps the Waterstone Grand. Where's our gentleman that just spoke from Waterstone?
He left already.
He left. But, well, you're Waterstone. I'm sure that that they would offer up their clubhouse as well. And hopefully they'll be standing room only to prevent not people that are already going through the process. I've sold real estate for over 30 years, so I understand exactly what you're talking about. And there's a true problem nationwide, but particularly we have our own problems here. So I thank you, Councilman, for bringing this wonderful project forward to us. And I know that citizens, as you're listening to this telecast, just know that you can contact the city and they will be able to tell you what the dates are, because this is the best way to educate. This is the best way to communicate, because a lot of people watch this. So thank you very much, and thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, Mr. Shelley.
And I have one other suggestion as well, is maybe go ahead and have somebody videotape one of these workshops so we can put it on the website and also maybe run it on our TV station, so that way anybody that can't make the workshop has access to it on their own time as well. That way we get to more people.
Thank you. Item C, Mr. Shelley.
That's mine. Yes, I'd like to introduce an esteemed attorney, Ms. Monica Gordo, who's running for as a judicial candidate for Group 62. So I want to give her an opportunity to invite her out here tonight to tell you a little bit about herself, why she's running for judge, and why she would make a very good judge.
Good evening. Sort of short. My name is Monica Gordo. I want to first of all thank the mayor and Councilman Shelley and all of the council for having me here this evening. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm born and raised in Dade County. I've been an assistant state attorney trying major cases with Kathy Rundle's office for the last 11 years. I'm running for circuit court judge in an open seat created by a judge's retirement. There is another person running in my race. As an assistant state attorney, I've worked very hard to protect this community. I've worked hard to put away violent career criminals when it was appropriate, child murderers. I've prosecuted serial rapist cases. I most recently prosecuted the case of this 9-year-old little girl that was murdered in Liberty City. You may have heard of the case, Sherdavia Jenkins. A park was recently dedicated in her name. I've worked tirelessly for this community, mostly because I have a complete passion for our community. I'm born and raised here, and I'm a wife and a mother. I have 2 boys, and I think it's very important to have people in our system that really care about this community. I've also worked very tirelessly and hard to make sure that all citizens' rights and constitutional rights were protected. I'm a big believer in doing things the right way and looking for justice under the right safeguards and constitutional safeguards. I now seek to go to the bench, and as a public servant, I've been out here working for the public. I'm kind of running a grassroots campaign. My race is Dade County wide, so it goes all the way from Florida City to the Dade County Broward line, from Miami Beach, Sunny Isles, and Aventura, all the way to the other side west of the county. And mine is a grassroots campaign in the sense that I need, every time I come out and meet people, if they're impressed by me or they look up my credentials on the website and they like me, to really come out and remember me and vote for me on August 24th. I thank you for your time. I will tell you that I am the only candidate in my race who's dedicated her whole career to public service, the only candidate in my race who's born and raised in Dade County, and that I promise that if I'm elected, I will faithfully uphold the laws of our county and make sure that I perform my function ethically and appropriately. I'm honored to have had the time to speak to you tonight. I've left my endorsement cards, and I hope that you'll all consider supporting me. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Okay, item D, Vice Mayor Waldman, Bike Festival recognition.
If you think you were short, try living in my shoes for a day. Okay. I have several items on the agenda tonight, but the first one is so dear to me because last year we had our first annual bicycle festival and the Greenway Biscayne Everglades Greenway Bike Festival. And this year, with the help of the executive director from Main Street, we were able to put together the second annual bicycle festival, and it was such a wonderful experience. I first want to bring Yvonne Knowles forward. If you'll come up here and join me. I know this is going to sound corny, but you know that song that Bette Midler sings, the wind beneath my wings? Let me tell you, this woman is the wind beneath my wings. She's done so very much to help. She has her heart, her soul into this project. And when I first brought it to her last year, we were totally on our own. Totally on our own. And this year, I want to thank our fine city, our city manager, our council, just everybody that helped us, and we're going to show that tonight with a little appreciation towards you. And I'd like for Yvonne to say a few words.
Thank you, Judy. Every organization, every event needs a great chairman, and we had it in Judy Waldman. Our vice mayor really led the way, connected us with Miami-Dade County, and I know she's going to recognize Mr. Kerwin, who's here shortly, but I do want to thank Miami-Dade County for coming up and helping us tremendously with our printing of our brochure and poster. Tom Burton, who is here from Everglades Bicycle Club, who really is the one who taught me all about bike rides and how to run them and how to do the rest stops and everything. And every time I had a question, he was right there to answer them. And there are a lot of people who make these events successful. but it's really the community that gets out there and shows up and works as volunteers that helps put on these events, and we can't do it without you. And I'm so grateful for all the volunteers who showed up and made this a successful event. It was an extraordinary community effort, and I'm very, very grateful for all your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne. Not only did we have wonderful volunteers, we had wonderful sponsors as well. You know, we had so many people, all the food was donated, thank God for Dade County Parks and Recs, because they have opened their hearts to me last year and again this year, and we work closely on the Trailway together anyway, but they did all the printing, and I want to show you these beautiful posters. And of course, I have to give credit where credit is due. Yvonne Knowles did this, but this is, well, yes, you did.
Well, yeah, with Miami-Dade County.
Yes, but she helped design it. You designed it?
Debbie Smith did.
Okay. All right, I'm trying to give her credit. She just keeps throwing it right back at me. But she did a lot of work on this poster. How's that? And they were printed by Miami-Dade County Parks and Recs. And they're beautiful, and we're calling this, we're going to try to make this like the Coconut Grove posters, because our first poster last year, if you haven't seen that one, it was just gorgeous. And this is the second one, and we're going to have a different one every single year. So I have quite a few names I'd like to mention. I know a lot of them are not here tonight. However, their name is certainly worth mentioning, and I appreciate everything. So here we go. Excuse me. The first name, of course, is Jack Cardis, and he's the director of Parks and Recs for Dade County, and he's not here tonight, but I know his heart is here with me, and Jack's been a loyal friend of mine for several years. He befriended me when I really needed a friend, and he's continued to stand by me, and he knows my heart is where it should be with the environment and with our Biscayne Everglades Greenway, and in turn he has offered to help in any way he can, so I appreciate that. Kevin Kerwin is here tonight, and Kevin is assistant director, correct?
I am the assistant to the director, yes.
Assistant to the director, and a great friend. And Kevin, I'd like for you to say a few.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, council members, I really, excuse me, my voice is shot. Jack and I would have loved to have been here. Jack, he lost his voice at one of the events we were putting on yesterday. Mine's going to go as soon as I'm done. Thank you. I'm a cyclist, so the hours that I'm not working, which are probably 10 or 12 a week, I'm coming down and I'm visiting you every Saturday and Sunday. And I dress a little different when I do that, and you probably see us on the road, but I really enjoy coming down here. The collaboration with the Greenway and Trails Project is phenomenal. Madam Vice Mayor, you've been phenomenal. Yvonne, terrific to work with. We have been working virtually for 2 years now, so I'd just like to thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yvonne, is Mary here? Mary Brew? No, Mary couldn't be here, but if you'd like to say, well, I'll just mention their names. Mary Brew and Debbie Frost. They helped with the posters. They did so much work. Mayor, I don't know if you realize just how much of a partnership we do have with the Dade County Parks and Recs Department. I can call on them whenever I need them, and they do the same with me, and it's a wonderful partnership, and I'd love for you to meet Jack Cardis, who's a great man.
Sure. Thank you very much for what you've done for us.
All right, now, we have, I have to ask a question first. We have several people who are being honored twice tonight, but from the City of Homestead, I'm just going to call the names. If you're here, please come forward. Dennis Maytan, our Director of Parks and Recs, Jenny Hopner, Adriana Hernandez, James Laurent, Sergeant Lizanne Deegan from the Police Explorers. Maybe Chief, you'd like to accept this? Mary Jane Mark with Max Cycle and Fitness, Sally Woods with the Dr. Paul Dudley White Bicycle Foundation, Ruth Campbell, again with the Dr. Paul Dudley White Bicycle Foundation, my good friend Tom Burton, Eric Tolberg, Everglades Bicycle Club. Let me just say something about Tom and Eric. They've been with us before we did the first annual bicycle festival. Tom goes out there on that 42-mile ride. He went out there on the trailway. He went out there before we even had the grass cut, and he rode it, and he rode it, and he rode the track, and he knows the track. Eric always, Eric's the back end guy, right? he follows at the back, and Tom leads, and Tom's always there to assist. And I remember the first meeting I ever had with Tom. We were sitting in my office, and he says, well, I guess I better go, it's going to rain. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I ride from South Miami to here for the meetings on the bicycle. So needless to say, I really felt out of shape. But anyway, Mauricio, how do you pronounce that last name? Okay. And he was with Adante Pikes, and he was wonderful. He followed around with the SAG vehicle, and for those of you that don't know what that is, that's if you had a flat tire, if you had a little accident, whatever, he was there with the tires and the screws and the wrenches and all those wonderful things. David Suarez with Diaz Supermarkets, Farah Shuki with BJ's. Diaz and BJ's donated all the food, and we appreciate it. John Hopkins with Green Mobility Network, and of course Yvonne. Excuse me, I got the same problem you do. This is my fifth event this month. So, Catherine Smith, Main Street Board Director, member. Amber Woods, where's Amber? Is she here tonight? Catherine Fleming, Mike Dobson, volunteer. Ed Powell, volunteer. Christ Fellowship Church, volunteers. Louis DeLeon, South Florida Water Management District, and our sponsors were Everglades Alligator Farm. Charles, are you here tonight? No. Secret Gardens, Bianca Dole. They were silver. Everglades Alligator were platinum. Capri were silver sponsor. Jimmy Curcio. Turkey Point Nuclear Power Station, gold sponsors. Homestead Executive Jet Center, Alfredo Cordero. It was great. That was a great rest stop out there at the airport. Skydive Miami, Fred Whitsitt. No? Okay. We have, each one of you received the beautiful poster and a certificate of appreciation, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And by the way, Kevin, the Dade County Bicycle Group, there were 4 guys, they rode, and they kind of didn't realize when we were getting all the information that we were going to use them next year too. They're going to give us suggestions and be a part of our team. So thank you so much. I'd like to get a photo with all of you. Sorry, we have a little discussion. Okay, are you ready? Can we get, where would you like this? Okay. Mayor, would you like to join me? Okay. Next year, everybody has to come out and ride. All right, my next presentation is to the Musselwhite family. Please join me. Your name is Crystal, right? Deanna Zek. Should probably have Fred up here too, because Fred was such a Fred, would you join us? Such a wonderful supporter of this project, the community center. But it's so important that we remember that the Musselwhite family donated the land that that community center sits on. And we appreciate it. We love you so much for your family for doing that. And I'd love for you to share a few words.
Mayor and Council, I'm pleased and honored to represent my family and my grandfather. My mother, Mary Lou Snyder, and my uncle, Bill Musselwhite Jr., were not able to attend, and they extend their apologies. Those of you who knew Bill Musselwhite knew how much he loved this city. My grandfather came to Homestead in 1912 by covered wagon, and he served 25 years on the council. He was an interim mayor at a certain point in time, and he was a local tomato farmer, having graduated from the University of Florida in agriculture. Many of the new technologies of today in farming can be contributed to farmers like my grandfather, who worked closely with the School of Agriculture at Florida. He was a humble man who only wanted to serve and see the work of the city accomplished. It was not important for him to receive credit. He only wanted the city to prosper and for Homestead to be a safe haven for all. The park was dedicated and named Musselwhite Park in January 1957, just following his death. It was an honor then, and is an honor now, that those who knew him would think so much of him, to name a park after him, for all to gather together and enjoy. Grandpa would be pleased to know that a community center named after Bill Dickinson can be found at Musselwhite Park, two men with the same goal. It is important for young people today to remember our roots and those who paved the way and stood before us. Our generation is truly blessed, and I want to thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Fred, I want you to say something in just a minute, but for right now, I'd like to read this proclamation for you. Whereas William Musselwhite served as a council member for the city of Homestead for 27 years, from 1930 to 1957, and whereas during his tenure with the city of Homestead, William Musselwhite was instrumental in projects that improved the city of Homestead, and whereas it was William Musselwhite's belief that parks make the city, and thus Musselwhite Park was named in his honor. God bless him, right? Whereas William Musselwhite forever enriched the lives of the citizens of the city of Homestead, and whereas William Musselwhite will be remembered for his untiring dedication and enormous contributions to the city of Homestead. Now, therefore, I, Stephen C. Bateman, the mayor of the city of Homestead, Florida, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 8th, 2010, as William Musselwhite Day in Homestead. Congratulations. And we have a little more something here. But Fred, would you like to say a few words? Fred Rhodes, our former mayor of the city of Homestead.
Fred Rhodes, I was born in Homestead in 1926. My mother and father came here from Georgia in 1920. My father told me many years ago the first man he met in Homestead was Bill Musselwhite. Bill Musselwhite served on the city council for 25 years, unopposed a lot of the times. And for every meeting he attended, you got $5. It's a lot of money back in those days. But Bill Musselwhite's daughter is not here tonight. This lady's mother, she was a school teacher in Homestead for about 35 years. She's handicapped now. She's in a wheelchair. Her husband is the former chief of police of Homestead. Her brother lives in Plant City, Florida. He's always worked in agriculture. This is really an honor to be here tonight to celebrate a life of a man like William Musselwhite. Thank you very much.
If you'll please stand in the middle, Fred, I'd like for you to help me do this. With sincere appreciation to the Musselwhite family for your dedication and many contributions to the Homestead community, May 2010, Mayor and Council, City of Homestead, we present to you this beautiful plaque. Okay, can you hold them? Thank you. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Thank you, Fred.
Thank you so much, and please tell your mother we said hello.
Okay. The next item that we have here, Sherry, can I get you to help me? Okay. The community center opened. And it opened last weekend with a bang. I mean, it was just beautiful. And this was the wonderful lady's grandfather who donated the land that our center sits on. And there were so many people that I wanted to thank, and so many people that had their loving hand right there to help this process move along and make this a reality. So I'd like to call a few names, and I'd like to ask you to please come forward. Nicole Anderson. Thank you. Dwight Whipple. Wilhelm, is it Destine? Destine? Yes. He's not here? Okay. Benito Montanard. Did I do that bad? I probably need some help here. Wiebert Montezet. There you go. I was close. Gary Clayton, Michael Hayes, John Thomas, Leroy Smith, Virginia Velarde, Jackie Pinkleton, Joe, Big Joe, Canizino, Stephanie Abate, Jennifer Bravo, Jenny Hopner, Adriana Hernandez, James Laurent, Louis Patel, Osvaldo, there he is, my buddy. The FOP, they did the cooking. Anybody here from the FOP? And as they received their awards and their thank yous, now I'd like to introduce to you two very important men in my life. They, one is in the present, one is in the past, but will always be in my heart. And I'd like to invite Dennis Maytan to come forward. Dennis is the director of Parks and Recs, and he was appointed recently, and I'm telling you what, he has stepped up to the plate. He deserves a great round of applause. He has really done a wonderful job. And I thank you, Dennis, because we had some scrambling to do at the last minute, and he made it beautiful. The man in the past who will always be in my heart is my dear friend, Kurt Herron. And I'd like to ask you to come forward, Kurt. Kirk Herron is our past director of Parks and Recs, and he's so loved by each one of these people up here. He is so loved. And let me tell you, I remember, give me your hand, I remember us sitting at the conference room table with a blank piece of paper, and we just sat there and we started sketching and we started just dreaming, and he started getting the money, which is what we needed, because without the money we couldn't have done it. And we just sat there, and I'd pick out a color, and I'd see his eyes roll, and I'd say, oh, no, that's not going to work. And then he would tell me, you know, Judy, you do what you want, but then I would always go back to his decision. But now he's the director, Park and Rec manager for Palmetto Bay. They have a good man here, and even though we have a wonderful man here, we love you both. So with that, Kurt, he was the the brains behind it in the very beginning, and I thank you so very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Waldman, and I just want to congratulate Homestead, Mayor Bateman, Council, Vice Mayor. There's many people in this room that also greatly contributed to this project. You should be very, very proud. You've got a landmark facility now in the city of Homestead, so best wishes to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr. Herron. I go back with Mr. Herron to 95, 96, 97, when I chaired the Park and Recs back in those years, and you did a great job for us, and I appreciate that. Now you can see what's come to fruition.
I'd like to thank the mayor, vice mayor, and all the councilmen, and Sergio, and my staff who pulled it up through on May 8th. We had over 500 people come in to it. We already got 30 new members. We already got people already trying to book in the banquet, so it's been a great success, and everybody in Homestead should be glad and proud of the new community center. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Before we leave, because we need to get a picture, I want to introduce Carrie Floody. She's our new part-time person at the community center, so you'll see her there when you come around. And if we could get a picture up here, I really would appreciate it. Carrie, come on. Hey, guys, gotta hurry.
Get up front, Carrie. Women up front. Women and children. Get out front. What's up, big man? And wear no more shiny shoes.
Okay, last but not least, excuse me. I'd like to just take a few minutes to thank the volunteers that were with VITA. Homestead and the IRS offered free tax return preparation for members of this community by volunteers throughout this last tax season. The service was offered at the Homestead YMCA on Saturdays, and as volunteers, they are trained using material provided by the IRS and provided services in filling out various IRS forms with refunds back in less than half the usual time. The volunteers were versed in the latest tax law changes for the tax year 2009, such as earned income tax credit, first-time homebuyer credit, education credit, and many other tax savings. These volunteers are to be commended for taking time out of their busy lives to help with the IRS initiative. I won't comment on that. I know that many of us don't like to hear the word IRS, but we need to thank our volunteers. Many thanks to Barbara, how do you pronounce her last name? It's A-C-E-B-A-L. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it right. Aspel. IRS Senior Tax Consultant, for bringing this service to Homestead. I'd also like to introduce to you Yamal N. McCosman. She is with Mario Diaz-Ballard's office, and she would like to say a few words. We have some awards, and she has some as well.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yamal from Congressman Mario Diaz-Ballard, and I'm here on the Congressman's behalf. It is an honor to be here today to present congressional recognition certificates to Barbara Alcibal and the volunteers. As we all know, the VITA program offers free tax help to low to moderate income individuals who cannot prepare their own tax returns. The volunteers of the VITA program play a very important role in assisting these individuals. These certified volunteers dedicate their time to help prepare basic tax returns in communities across the country. Our office has been working with the IRS for several years now doing community events. We are pleased to work together with the IRS to better serve this community. It gives us the ability to really come together and provide service to a community we so greatly appreciate. On behalf of the Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, I commend you for the hard work, and we appreciate the dedication in helping individuals in our community. I present these certificates for special recognition to Barbara Alceval. If you can please come forward.
I'd also, we're going to be doing this together. We didn't know we were doing this together tonight. So again, I would like to present this as well. This is a certificate of appreciation and appreciation for your dedication and contributions to the Homestead community. Thank you. Okay, so why don't we wait and get a picture at the very end with everybody, if that's okay. Okay.
Marissa McFlanny Lindsay. Fred Racino and Gonzalez. Julie Aister. Gary Marcelin. Dalia Barichetter. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Mildred Jordan.
Don't give them too much. Okay, item H, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Thank you so very much. Is Frank Martinez in the building? If he'll come. Mayor, this is Mayor and members of the council, city council, members of the city council, members of the city council. This is a new initiative that I'm trying to do in the Southwest area, where we're going to once a month honor Southwest businesses that have been in the area. And Mr. Martinez is one of the first ones to do so. And so he has the name of his shop is Discount Frame, and he's been in that same location since 1994, providing services to the community. And I felt very appropriate that at this time that we give him a certificate of recognition for his hard work and dedication through the many years that he has given back to our wonderful citizens of Homestead, but not only that, but into the Southwest community. So the certificate reads, Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is awarded to Discount Framing Frank Martinez, owner, in recognition of your commitment and dedication to the Southwest area and Homestead community. And the City of Homestead salutes you, presented this 17th day of May 2010. Thank you so very much. And also, I would like to, now we're going to get some more of these pins made, right, Vice Mayor, with the correct logo on it. But I'm going to give you this pin as a token of our appreciation, to know that we value you and we value your business here at the Homestead. And I invite everybody to patronize Discount Framing. They do such a wonderful work, and we salute you on this day. Thank you so very much. You want to say anything?
Well, to those who don't know me, my name is Frank. I've been in business in Homestead since 1994, and as a local business owner, I've experienced many great experiences dealing with the small community. I've really enjoyed it, and I made a lot of people happy and made a lot of friends. And I want to thank the community and the council and the mayor for giving me this opportunity and recognizing my service to this community. I'm located here in Homestead. I'm a local frame shop. I specialize in all types of framing. It's a small frame shop, but we do very personal. We get personal with customers' needs. And if you have any future needs, come and see me personally, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you for this recognition. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you, sir.
He has such a great title for his store, Discount Framing. So when you go there, you know you're going to get a what? A discount. And so Frank, let me pin this on you, because this is very special to me, to know that persons like yourself has contributed so much to our community. And we ride by every day and know that the commitment that you have given and providing jobs, it goes a long way, and we salute you today. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Williams, thank you for recognizing one of our local businesses. Okay, I'll take just a minute and let the council chambers, it's clearing a little bit. Break here. Yeah, Vice Mayor, would you take mine also?
I will be.
I didn't know if you were going to stay the whole meeting, but I filled it out for you. I endorse this Gordo. Okay, thank you. Moving right along, thank you, Homestead. We've got tab 4, tab 1, 3, consent agenda. Motion to move forward consent agenda.
I move it, Mayor.
Thank you. Second.
Second, Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Questions or comments from council? No questions or comments on the consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Carries. Okay, item 4, a public hearing, ordinance, land use items. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment on any of these items, please indicate the item number you'd like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentation. Swearing in. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish either to be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex-parte communications concerning items on the agenda. At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify in the quasi-judicial item.
Would you please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me? I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. You may be seated.
Tab 7 is a second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, considering the request of 1590 Homestead LLC for a rezoning from Restricted Retail Commercial District B1 to Retail Commercial District B2 for property located at 1690 Northeast 8th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second reading.
I'll entertain a motion to move forward.
I move it.
Thank you. Second. Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. If you recall, on first reading, this application came before you, and in essence is, as our city attorney stated, a rezoning from B1 to B2. The current use of the property is the combination of retail and storage. The property is located, the subject property is located at 1690 Northeast 8th Street. If you recall, during the proceedings, there were questions raised concerning the potential uses that will be allowed under the B2 district and whether or not those uses will be raising concerns as to, as compared to the B1 type uses that we normally have along the Campbell corridor. Because of those concerns that this council brought forward, the applicant, along with our city attorneys and myself and my staff, the applicant proffered a covenant stating, and the highlight of that covenant is pretty much outlining the fact that they will abide or allow, he would only use, and this covenant is running with the land, uses only permitted in the B1 district. The only use that's permitted, that would be permitted in the that is of the B2 district, would be the storage facility that he currently has. So in essence, what we're doing is bringing this property into conformance with the rezoning, and at the same time, via this covenant, the applicant proffered that he would not use the property in other way, shape, or form than what he's presently using it as. So having said that, and as I stated in my previous meeting, the Planning and Zoning Board recommending approval. We also had the Development Review Committee that we normally have in applications such as this, and we're hereby, staff is hereby recommending approval on second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Questions from council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
Not a real question, just a statement. I'm glad that the applicant, I don't think he's here or they're here today, but I just wanted to thank them for taking into account our concerns that we had and for limiting those concerns. So, I want to say I do support this at this time.
Thank you, sir.
Any further questions? At this time, I'll open the public hearing. Anyone who would like to speak in favor, please come to the podium. Seeing none, hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak against, please come to the podium. Seeing none, hearing none. Asking council if you have any final questions. Seeing none, hearing none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lopez?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item, City Attorney, Legislative Matters.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Section 3-2, possession of or consumption in public places of Chapter 3 alcoholic beverages, to allow alcoholic beverages at certain events at the William F. Bill Dickinson Community Center, providing for severability, inclusion of the code, and an effective date.
Okay,
So moved,
motion.
Mayor.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Staff report?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, this is pretty much a housekeeping matter. We currently, this is something that is currently permitted under our code. We just are adding more specificity as to the name of the facility. That is all.
Okay. Yeah, any questions from council? Hearing none, I'll now open the public hearing. Would anybody like to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none. Anybody like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, hearing none. At this time, I'll close the public hearing. Any final comments from council? Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Lopez?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Woolman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Second reading, next item.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 22.5 Retirement Plans, Article 6, new elected officials and senior management retirement system, and Section 22.5302 definitions by creating a new Section 22.5309 federal tax provisions to comply with provisions of the Internal Revenue Code, providing for severability, inclusion of the code, conflicts, and an effective date. Second reading and public hearing.
Okay, motion?
Move it.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, staff report?
Yes, sir. This came before you as well. What we're doing basically is a housekeeping matter to modify the code so that it is in compliance with the IRS as it pertains to certain provisions to maintain the retirement system's tax qualified status. And this one before you now pertains to the new elected officials. There's a subsequent one that addresses, existing and old elected officials.
Thank you, sir. Questions from council? Hearing no questions. Yes, Mr. Williams?
No questions.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak in favor, please come forward. Seeing none, hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, hearing none. At this time, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you. And Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Oh, any further questions? I'm sorry.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Woolman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lopez?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Next item is a companion ordinance, but just dealing with the older retirement plan. An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinance by amending Chapter 22.5 Retirement Plans, Article 4 Elected Officials Retirement Plan at Section 22.5202 definitions by creating a new Section 22.5207 federal tax provisions to comply with provisions of the Internal Revenue Code, providing for severability, inclusion of the code, conflicts, and an effective date. This is a second reading and public hearing.
Move it.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Staff report.
Sir, same as before. It's just to comply with some changes made by the IRS
Okay,
in order to qualify.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from council? Okay, at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Any questions from the audience in favor? Any questions in opposition? This time, I'll close the public hearing. Any final questions from council? Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Woolman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lopez?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Next item is ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinance by amending Chapter 3 Alcoholic Beverages, Section 2-9 Hours of Sale to amend regulations concerning the hours of sale of alcoholic beverage for off-premise consumption related to package stores, amending Section 311 Public Hearing to revise notice requirements for applications for certificate of use for sales of alcoholic beverages, providing severability, inclusion of the code, conflicts, and effective date. This is the first reading.
Entertain a motion.
Move it.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Shelley. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, if you recall, this ordinance was before you once before, and it provides for both the amendment and the cleanup on some minor regulations within Chapter 3 as it pertains to the alcoholic beverages. More specifically, how we handle the sale of package stores or package stores that sell alcohol on Sundays. And what we're proposing is that package stores will be able to sell on Sundays between the hours of 8 and 10 p.m., 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. Now, that's really the highlight of the change. We, as you recall, at the last meeting, you requested that we look at how other municipalities handle this very issue. We went on and researched not only municipalities but also counties. We looked at Monroe County, the City of Miami, Florida City, Cutler Bay, the Village of Palmetto Bay, the Village of Pinecrest, and the Village of Isla Morada. Just to summarize it, Monroe County, no alcoholic beverages sold or consumed between the hours of 4 a.m. and 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. any day. Those are the only restrictions, which pretty much covers the time that anyone can be sleeping, maybe. The City of Miami states that the hours of sale of alcoholic beverages by liquor package store, including Sundays, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Florida City is pretty much open. It allows it from 7 a.m. through midnight prevailing time. And there are no restrictions for the hours of sale, basically. Cutler Bay, they are more stringent. They don't allow the sale of alcoholic beverages on Sundays. The Village of Palmetto Bay, the same way. However, Pinecrest does not have any restrictions on the sale of alcoholic beverages, and nor does the Village of Isla Morada. Those were our findings. We're still recommending that we move forward.
Okay, council, discussion.
Yes. After looking at it, it looks like it's a tie because Monroe County does no, Cutler Bay no, and Villages of Palmetto Bay is no, and Village of Pinecrest and the other, and then City of Miami is half a day. So it didn't matter to me because I'm not going to be supporting it anyway. I'm going to be voting no on this for the simple reason that I'm following the city, Miami-Dade County. There's no sale on that day, and so I'll be voting no.
Okay, any further? Yes, Vice Mayor.
I'm going to say what I said at the last meeting when we discussed this. And I believe I said something to the effect that I'm an old-fashioned girl, and I still don't believe that you should be selling liquor in a package store during church hours. So I like the 1 to 7, and I have no problem with that, but I just cannot endorse selling liquor at 8 a.m. in the morning. So that's how I stand on this. I just want you all to know.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Shelley.
I have a similar sentiment to the Vice Mayor in that after looking at this, the one thing I don't want to do is handcuff our local businesses here in the city of Homestead. When you have Florida City that doesn't really have any restrictions, Monroe County doesn't have any restrictions other than the 4 to 7, but very minor restrictions. And so I don't want it to put it in a situation where our businesses are less competitive than the other surrounding cities. But at the same time, I think I would support the 1 o'clock start time versus, say, the 8 a.m. Part of me doesn't want to vote for the Sunday sale at all, but at the same time, I look at the businesses and I want to make sure that they can stay competitive and that they have an option. So for that, I would support it and with a limited time.
Okay, any further
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Burgess.
I've spoke to one of the owners here in town briefly. In fact, I met him tonight. Mr. Alvarez is out there in the audience. and he was stating, I mean, I just happened to run into him as I walked in, and he was stating that while Sedano's business is up on a monthly numbers, his is that he owns the mega discount liquor next door. His numbers are down, and he's hurt. Not, I wouldn't say hurting, but he's seen a significant drop in with the economy. So he was saying that this is, I think, his only store that's not open on Sunday, and his other stores are sustaining where this one is lagging behind in its numbers and stuff. So I feel like maybe we are handcuffing the business owner a little bit, and so because of that, I could go along with the 1 to 7 or 1 to 8, whatever we decide it to be. But I had heard from him, and I just thought it'd be fair to share that with everybody. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further before I open it up? Yes.
Yes, Mayor. I'm just waiting for someone to make an introduction to the language, but I guess, if that's the direction. I'm really the same way. I don't know how I'm going to vote, and I was going back and forth. But hearing everybody else's comment, then I move to amend or include that the time be restricted from 1 to 7 on Sundays.
What was the sorry, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, please.
What was the reason for the 7 versus the 10?
I just went by the, Mayor, through the chair. I was just going by the City of Miami. They have, including Sundays, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
I mean, if I have no problem with even 8 or 9 p.m. on a Sunday, but I don't think it should be any later than that. And, sir, I didn't even realize you weren't open on Sundays at all. So that's been very respectful, but you certainly do need to be open to be competitive. So we certainly support our local business owners. But, I just found that, Mr. Shelley, from the information that was given to us.
I repeated that, and then I stopped and looked at it and thought about it. I said, well, I don't really have an objection to the late sale as much as the early sale. So
Mr. Mayor,
7's fine.
Just to keep things organized, there's been a motion to amend from 1 to 7. I don't think it received a second, so you need to get it on the floor with the second and then discussion afterwards.
Mayor, there's been a correction, if I may.
Please.
The city clerk has stated that I said 1 to 7 and didn't specify whether it was 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. So I need to say for the record that I meant 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Thank you.
So that's a motion to
So we've
amend.
got the motion. We need a second.
I'll second it.
Can we have a second? Discussion.
If I may, Chair.
Yes.
I know he's not here as an applicant, but where are your other stores, sir?
Well, what we're going to do, for the record, we need to open the public hearing up and allow him to speak.
Well, then
correct?
go ahead and open it up then.
We need to
Get
do
time.
it. If there are no further, at this time, we can leave it and open. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Anybody is here in the audience to speak in favor, please come forward to the podium. State your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Cesar Alvarez. I am the owner of the Mega Discount Liquors across the street. I own 4 other locations, 3 other in Dade County and 1 in Broward County. My Broward County store is open from 12 to 8 o'clock at night. We can only open from 12 o'clock. In Dade County, there's basically, I think, we don't have a restriction on the hours on Sunday. There is a variance that you need to go through, but pretty much it's just everybody gets it. So everybody in Dade County pretty much opens. Well, the reason I'm here is because, like Mr. Burgess said, for the last year and a half, my business has been really struggling. And I've tried looking around what's going on, what's happening. I mean, I'm just trying. And I realized that Walmart is in Florida City, opened up a liquor store. And then I realized that there's another liquor store a little bit further ahead in Florida City that also opened up, and they are open Sundays all day with no restrictions. And our sales are continuing to just, stagger. And like you said before, I talked to Sedano's, which is next to us. Their sales are great. So I'm like, what are we doing wrong? I mean, and it just happens that it's been about a year and a half that this has happened. Again, the economy is bad, but it doesn't relate. Basically, I'm here to petition to have the ability for us to be competitive, because not only do we lose customers on Sunday, is that anytime we lose a customer on a Sunday, that customer may not come back on Wednesday or on Monday or whatever day in the week, because that customer gets used to going somewhere else. And that, for me, all the years, I've owned the store for 8 years, and we haven't opened on Sundays ever because we can't, except on December. It's been great that we hadn't have to open on Sundays, really, because the staff gets their day off. I don't have, it's a quiet day for us. But right now, it's hurting us. It's really, really hurting us. And again, it's competition. Publix didn't open on Sundays years ago, but competition drove them to open up on Sundays. And that's what I feel, and I'd like to, express that, and for you to consider this.
May I still have a question?
Yeah, what question? Let me ask first. Your other stores that are open from 8 in the morning?
No, I don't. On Sundays, I'm sorry. On Sundays, we open from 10 to 7 on 10 to 7 and 10 to 8 in Dade County.
Okay, 10. Do you see that big a difference? I mean, you see there's a lot of people come in from 10 to 12 or 10 to 1 in the morning?
It depends. It depends. You do get traffic. Realistically, I would say, and again, with all due respect, if 12 to 8, like Coral Springs, is reasonable. A lot of people are going to the beach. They're going to a park. They're having a birthday. 1 o'clock gets really a little bit after. Mm-hmm. And again, what's going to happen is we're still going to lose business to our fellow guys, across the street, basically. Mm-hmm. That would be my real suggestion. If we have to have a restriction, I would love to see something like 12 to 8 or 12 to 7. I'm fine.
Yeah, 1 hour. Okay. All right. Yes, Mr. Williams.
Let me ask you a question, sir. You said your stores are located in Miami-Dade County. What city?
I have 2 stores in Kendall and 1 in Westchester.
Westchester. And do you feel that at some point that what my colleague has recommended from 1 to 7, would that make a difference for you being 1 to 7 instead of, is that a compromise that you're willing to live with?
Like I expressed before, 1 to 7 is better than nothing. Realistically, if we're going to have a restriction, I would prefer 12, like I said before, because a lot of people are going to go out during the day, and even 12, we'll lose some people over there, but at least we won't lose that much. 12 to 7, 12 to 8, but I think 12 is more important than 8 o'clock. Sundays, people tend to relax earlier, go to bed, but they start earlier.
They start early.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should look at 8.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I absolutely have no problem with the 12 o'clock. Absolutely. And if it would help your business, I just appreciate that you respect the fact as to why I said what I said about people in the morning time.
I respect that.
So if the maker of the motion is willing, Mr. Weiss, could I suggest to the maker of the motion that we amend the...
Yes, or you can just move to change it from 1 to 12.
No, 12 to... Oh, I see, from 1 p.m. to 12 noon.
12
okay.
to 7.
I would like to do that.
Requires a second, Mr. Mayor.
Do you want is 8 o'clock better for you? I know Publix is open.
12 o'clock would be better, but like I said, if I had to choose, I'd choose 12. 12 to 8 would be perfect.
Okay, well, I have no problem with that, and we'll see how the other council feels, but I would like to make that...
So there's been a motion by the Vice Mayor to amend the amendment to go from 12 to 8?
Yes.
And that requires a second.
How does, okay. Second?
Second it.
Second? Yes, sir. Okay. Well, how do we handle our first motion here now? Do we have a problem with that, maker of the first motion? Do you want to just withdraw the motion, or do you want to stick with it?
No, I'll go ahead and go with the procedure of amending the amendment and see how that vote goes.
All right, so you vote on a Vice Mayor's motion first?
Okay.
And then it would subsume Councilwoman Lobos if it passed.
Okay.
So you need to just finish up the public hearing
Finish up,
process.
yeah.
then.
Okay, sir, are you through now?
No, I'm free.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Yes, ma'am. Here, put it right up here. Oh, sure.
It's for us, not for them.
Good evening, members of the board, Mayor, Madam Chair. I'm the new kid on the block, they say. I'm an architect. With the economy being the way that it is, we're doing a lot of hearings as well. So this is the first time that I'm presenting a hearing in Homestead. We came in front of the
Excuse
planning...
me, can we have your name and address for the record?
Yes, Mara Gonzalez, architect. The address is 2742 Southwest 8th Street, and it's 201 Miami, Florida, 33135. We came in front of the Planning and Zoning Board about 3 weeks ago for Licorama, and I've passed a couple of the visuals of what we're proposing. And to our client's surprise, he was also faced with the dilemma that he could not open on Sundays. So we're here, to support staff. The attorney is also here in case you have any questions for him. We're very, very happy with the 12 to 8 o'clock. Our client is going to be spending well over $250,000 on a very, very nice liquor store for the community. He is a resident. He lives close to the Publix near that area. And, we're just delighted that you're contemplating, doing the Sunday sales.
Thank you. So you're content with 12 to 8?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
That's
Thank
fine.
you very much.
Okay.
Any further questions from council?
Yes. Does this include, because I know when we approve this, are we approving this for restaurants as well? I mean, is this all one package, Mr. City Manager?
This only pertains to package sales.
Oh, because in the language, and when I'm reading, there's some other stuff in there.
Restaurants can sell. The code does not prevent that from happening. As part of, the restriction in those cases is that they have to sell, they have to be served and have food along with the beverage.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions of them? Okay.
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. All right, anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak in favor? Seeing none, hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, hearing none. We're coming back to council. What we'll do is, any further questions before we do the first vote here? Okay, we hear none. We want to do a roll call vote on the vice mayor's motion, which is from 8 to 7. 8 to
12 to 8.
12 to 8. We reverse it. 12 to 8. 12 to 8. Madam.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado? Councilman Shelley?
No, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
No.
Councilman Williams?
Nope.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Clerk.
Okay, now we need to vote on the motion as amended, which is the ordinance as amended. You've just amended the ordinance to change the sale from 12 to 8. So now you vote on the ordinance as amended.
I hear you. Okay.
Councilman Maldonado?
No.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Nope.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. City Attorney. 13.
They may need it here.
Next item is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 16, Local Business Taxes and Business Regulations, Article 2, Local Business Tax Receipts, Article 16, 39, Local Business Tax Receipt Inspection Fee, to amend and clarify the amount of inspection fees and applicable timeframes of reinspection, providing for severability, inclusion in the code, conflicts, and effective date.
Motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you. Second? Okay. Staff report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. In the last few months, staff has identified a number of the need to address or further clarify the existing code language related to inspections. The inspections necessary that are necessary to issue the business tax receipts or business license or occupational license, depending on how you call it. They're all the same thing. The way it stands today, each application is charged an inspection service fee of $30. That's the way the code reads today. And what we're proposing is that the necessary inspections that are made as a result of a new business coming in, the ones that are required, that the $30 fee be amended to reflect whatever those inspections really cost per hour, pursuant to the fee schedule that we have brought before you through the different contractors that we have, on board to provide those inspections. And those are based on an hourly base. And you saw them not that long ago. So in order to make the city sound and to be more consistent with those contracts, we're recommending this change to the code. It's really an antiquated and not up to date way to handle the inspections, and therefore we're here recommending approval of this change.
Okay, questions from council?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Williams.
What will be the new fees?
The new fees is reflected on an hourly base. If you recall, when I brought before you the contracts with the inspections companies, there was an attachment. There was a fee schedule that they proposed and that we negotiated. Depending on who we use, we'll do it on a cost recovery basis.
Mayor, can I have a colloquy, please? Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. Then in that case, then I don't have those attachments. So what are we talking about an hour? You said an hour. What is the amount?
For instance, if I recall correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, on a plumbing inspection could cost $65 an hour. And so it is for most of the trade inspections, except, of course, if you get mechanical, maybe different. Go ahead, Tom. Please take the.
What we're trying to do here is make what we have this contract with the as-need basis. So what we're trying to do is cut the cost down, but yet stay within the reason as the city manager has presented to you. We try to get like 3 people at one time going, and we try to get as many as we can within that 1 hour.
Okay.
So basically, it's cutting it down, but yet it's in the same realms of what the city manager's.
You're saving money for the end.
Correct.
To the user.
To the user, that's
to
correct.
The user, not even us, them.
So that means that usually they don't go over an hour, right? I mean.
No.
It's 15 minutes.
15 minutes max.
It's a relatively short inspection. Right. It's typically on renewals or new applications that come in, but it's not your typical building inspection.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Yes, Mr. Shelley.
My question was somewhat related to that, in that if you're opening up a new business here in the city, you kind of want to have a fee idea. You're trying to put together your budget, and part of that is going to be able to figure out approximately what it's going to cost. So is there going to be a fee schedule that's generated, or is it always going to be kind of this hourly basis where no one knows until it's actually completed? Because that's my only concern when we change it off of a fixed fee to an hourly fee, is that you have a new business owner who's coming in, and if it's a small business, they want to plan their budget, and if it was 30 and then they do an hourly basis, maybe it's 60 instead, and that's the only concern that I have.
My reply would be, the end user would be charged the prorated amount. For instance, if we pay $65 an hour, and they spend their only minutes, we'll prorate that amount and come up with, each case is different. Some businesses are larger than others. Some businesses, because of their use, require a little bit more of an involved inspection than others. And what we're doing is we're just making sure that whatever time is spent is applied, what we pay for is applied to the end user.
Well, I mean, I understand how it works, but I still have the same concern in that the person coming in is not going to have an idea of what it's going to cost them. I mean, is there any way we can set at least a max figure to say that no matter what, it will never be more than this, and they get less and great, but they can put it in their budget at the max figure? I mean, is there some way we can work on that?
Yes, we could. Okay. Yes, we could.
Because I don't want to have the situation where it's discretionary, and someone comes in thinking it's only going to be $50, and the next thing you know it's $75, and I think that leaves people a bad taste in people's mouth.
Put a cap on it. Yeah.
What I would suggest, if I may, is this is on the first reading. What I would do is I will go back to the drawing board, and on the average, I will look at the worst case scenario, the best case scenario, and come out with a middle point so that we can charge that amount, or at least tell them, what I could tell you what the low, the mid, and the upper range would be.
Okay, because I just want to make sure we're business friendly.
Yeah. Okay.
Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Williams.
Are you saying, because I just heard you say, did you say prorated? So you're saying that if it's 65 and they spend 15 minutes there, are you going to prorate that to out of the 65? Because you said prorated.
I will adjust the amount that we pay per hour to the 15 minutes so that they don't get charged the $65. They get charged whatever 15 minutes.
$20.
Well, see.
What is it?
$17.50.
$17.50.
That will not propose a problem in what you're trying to accomplish. You're trying to raise the fees so that it will, kind of absorb the cost that it costs us to pay the services. So if you're paying $17.50 and the person who's doing the work for you is charging $65, that's not going to make any sense.
No. What happens?
Right now, what we charge, it depends. When we have several inspections that are required in one location, that's when it throws you off, because what we charge now is not representative of that. Let me come back to you with those numbers, and I will clarify your concerns.
Okay, I'd like to put a motion on the table that we defer this item until the Development Service Director comes back to the council with a defined plan for what the rates will be with the prorated, because right now I don't feel comfortable voting on something I quite don't understand the logic behind. I understand the logic what you're trying to do, but it's not making sense right now on what's in front of me.
I will bring clarification and those numbers for you for the next.
No motion.
Okay, we got a motion to defer.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Okay, it carries. Let's move on to the next tab, Richard.
Could I, in order to save money, could I request that we defer it to a time certain so that we don't have to re-advertise?
Okay.
Like next meeting.
Next meeting.
Okay, so what would the date of that be, Elizabeth?
Let me ask a question then. Point of order, clarification. I think we have an emergency, a special call on the 24th. Could we add it to that?
Well, I've got a little problem with the 24th because it's Mr. Maldonado's birthday. I can't vote on a special call on his birthday.
All right.
Next meeting will be
But it's already on the books, man.
It's Well, I can wait till the next meeting. It's just that I wanted to make sure that it's a date certain so that we can save that money, the advertising costs. That's all.
The next council meeting would be June 15th.
June 15th?
If that's agreeable.
That's the next council meeting.
So if we could have a motion to defer to June 15th, please.
Is that the consensus of the council, Mayor?
I'll second the motion to move it to June 15th.
Is it time certain? Is it hurting us?
Otherwise, I will have to re-advertise, and I'm just trying to save on the.
No, I hear what you're doing. I'm just saying, June 15th?
That would be fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I move that with the time certain that we have it June 15th.
Second that.
Second by Mr. Burgess. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries. All right, tab 12.
Resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, authorizing purchase of diesel fuel for the City of Homestead Utility Department, recognizing applicable exemption from engaging in competitive bidding pursuant to Code Section 2411.185, exemption from competitive bidding, providing for an effective date.
Move it.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Staff.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. This original contract was brought before you, I would say, like 3 months or so ago. And it's in essence a piggyback from Miami-Dade County diesel contract to get better pricing on what we pay for the fuel. The issue here is that since you approved it, the county changed vendors, and because of that, it's coming before you. That is the only reason why we need your approval, to continue with the piggyback contract.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council?
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Yes.
If you'll give me an opportunity to have
Please.
a colloquy with the manager. Is that all right?
Sure.
Thank you. Got a couple questions because I'm trying to really understand this. In the available balance, it says about $487,580. Is that the cap amount that we are going to allow for this? I mean, because what is the amount budgeted for this fiscal year for this?
That is the total, the original budgeted amount. It's about $650,000 per year. What is left in the balance is this amount for that purpose.
Okay, so typically I see it gives estimates, but how much have we purchased thus far? I mean, when do we hit the purchase point to where we say we need more?
Ken, you want to help me there?
Yeah. Mayor and Council, we have storage facilities for about 500,000 gallons of diesel. We normally like to keep a minimum of 100,000 gallons on hand. And the one thing this contract does is allow us to watch the market, and when the prices are down, that is when we buy. And in the past years, we've made significant savings by having this contract in place, where we can, as soon as we see the market drop a dime or even a nickel, we can make the purchase then. And as far as you're concerned about the budget, we have a balance of approximately $450,000 left for this fiscal year, and we will stay within that budget constraint and probably budget approximately $650,000 for next year.
Okay. And so we usually pay about, my calculation roughly was about $2.17. Or is it less than that, about $2 or so?
It actually goes all over. We've been from a high of $2.80, and a couple of years ago, I bought it for as low as 88 cents.
Okay. So, all right. So this, when we do this, this gives them the ability to not come back before us for this, but to stay within those guidelines that which is set. Am I right?
Correct. It actually saves us money over time.
Okay. All right. And where are we now? Where are the levels now? Where are we? How many gallons do we have now?
We have approximately 110,000 gallons in stock.
So we need to buy some more, huh?
We should.
Okay. All right.
Prices are down.
Any further discussion? Okay, hearing no further discussion, I'd like to open public hearing. Anyone from the audience that would like to speak, please come forward to the podium. Seeing no one, hearing no one. Anyone who would like to speak in opposition, please come forward. Seeing no one and hearing no one, I ask council for final comments. Any final comments? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Walden?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Next item is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving revisions to the City Code of Homestead logo, providing for an effective date.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. Staff?
Sir, this is pursuant to your direction at the last council meeting.
Thank you.
It's the tractor is back on the logo.
And we don't want to go out and dump what we have, but as we replace, we're going to be, we'll be frugal and smart.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll add.
Just in order to save
Sure.
The money.
The farmers of our community who built this community, we'll add them back on.
Yes.
Discussion, council.
Yes, just one.
Yes, sir.
As chair of your finance, Madam, I'm sorry, Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I heard you touch on it just a few moments ago, but you said as neat as we replace it. But what would it probably cost if we had to redo all of our signs and stuff? I mean, what kind of money are we looking at?
That we're not going to redo them. We're going to do it as we need.
I understand.
Paperwork.
That still costs money. So, what are we going to immediately replace is my question. Mr. Chair, Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I think that we're not going to replace anything until we need it. As you need stationery, as you need...
As a sign gets faded, we will replace them. Now that we're ordering, eventually ordering, once
Brand new signs.
You define what the entrance signs, for instance, are going to look like, then the new ones will come in showing the new logo. But from what I'm reading, what I'm hearing, the intent is to keep what we have and only replace it if they become faded or dilapidated or destroyed by nature. Otherwise, we will not need to replace them. Correct?
Correct. Yes, Ms. Hesper.
Excuse me. Just as we did with the plane, when we added the plane back into the logo, I would suggest that I think it would be very inexpensive to get a sticker of the tractor and at least place that on the, such as signs like this. Because in any design company, sign company can do that very easily, and it's very inexpensive. And then as we go with the stationery and et cetera, the pens, they're so inexpensive to order. These little ones right here, I think, I know our original pen, I think, Mr. You have yours on, Mr.?
Not tonight.
I gave him my own pen when I first met him, but it had the actual key on it. So the tourism committee will be designing and of course adding back that tractor as we go. And I know these mean a lot to people, and we'll get a cost for you on that, Mayor, but I don't think it's going to be very much, even if we wait just a little bit. But the sticker, I would recommend at least using the sticker, because as the Musselwhite family stated tonight, it was her grandfather or great grandfather? Grandfather that farmed all those years and served on our council for 27 years. So these are just things that I would suggest, and our tourism meeting hopefully will be scheduled next week, and we'll bring forth a recommendation to you, Mayor, at the next council meeting.
Thank you.
If that's okay.
Well, Mayor, do we have any? Do we still? Maybe we can take our inventory. Do we have any of the old signs that are left? Maybe.
I tried to find some the other day, and
Well, I noticed tonight on the TV, they've got the tractor back.
yeah, but we were in the basement. It was a struggle.
The tractor is that one, but not on that one.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I have the floor for a moment.
Please.
Just a second.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
So, Mr. Manager, would you see if your staff can maybe find where they took, maybe the other ones that we have that will,
I think you're going to find, I hate to be this dated, I think you're going to find that the old ones had the tractor in the center.
Yes.
As opposed to where it is with and the plane wasn't on the old one.
That's a big.
And then at some point, the tractor turned into a race car. It did.
That's true.
It did. They replaced it in the center with the race car. So I think the old ones that you'll find will not have the plane. They'll just have the tractor right in the center.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any further questions?
Mayor, I just have
Yes.
a comment.
Yes,
I
sir.
voted when the jet came up to be put back in. I'll vote again to put the tractor back in, and I'm just glad I kept the pins over the past 3 years, because now they're collectible items.
Okay. No further questions. I'll open the public hearing up. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor? Opposition? Hearing none, seeing none. We'll close the public hearing. Final comments from council? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovas?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Business from City Manager.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, and I'm going to need the advice from the attorney to see how we handle this one. When I requested a date certain on the item before this one, that we just moved on, the date that was provided was the 15th of next month.
Yeah.
I believe that might not be the date, the council meeting date, and I don't want to show on the record the wrong date. So, Mr. Attorney,
I move to reconsider.
I'll second.
Thank you. And the date is?
No, we need to just vote on the motion to reconsider. Just a voice vote's fine.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Motion carries.
Okay, so now it's back on the table. A motion to defer to,
I believe it's the 14th.
14th.
to June 14th.
June 14th.
So moved.
It's the 21st.
Is it the third Monday?
Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, I think the correct date is the 21st.
Whoa, we're all over the calendar.
Mayor Bateman, can I suggest we get those little calendars, please?
Yes.
Back up here
Yes,
so that
Vice
we
Mayor.
have calendars. I know I've missed them.
So,
Yeah, the 21st as well.
21st.
The 21st.
Yeah, I think you should, my calendar is usually pretty good, and for some reason or another, it shows June 14th as the meeting in June. I don't know whether something was going on, maybe there was a convention, but maybe you could check, the clerk could check the actual date, because I don't want to get the wrong date here. Do you remember, Jay?
All of our cell phones say the 21st, which is the third Monday in June.
Okay. I don't know why mine says the 14th, but okay.
I move, did we do a voice vote yet? No. I move for the June 21st then.
I'll second.
Or whatever that official day is, just as a safeguard.
We'll just vote when we all show up at the same time.
14th, 21st?
21st.
21st, okay. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay? Carries.
Thank you.
Any further business from the city attorney? I mean, city clerk, city manager. I'll get you.
Yes, sir. I just want to mention that on June 1st, we're expecting to have the solid waste start to the two times.
Thank you for
a
that.
month, every 2 weeks. Pickup, solid waste pickup every 2 weeks. And the recycling program will also start as well with delivering cans next week. We are gearing up our EDBO. It's coordinating the efforts to gearing up for hurricane season. We're updating our plan. We're doing everything that we need to do in order to be up to speed with the season that's forthcoming. And along those lines, we're also working diligently to get the generators at the traffic lights, so that when we're working on the transfer switches and the permitting that we need to undergo through Dade County and such, in order to get the main intersections taken care of, so that in the event of a power outage after a hurricane event or any disaster, we are able to provide better services. We'll have more police available in the areas where we need them, while having the intersections working properly. So that has been a success in other cities where I've been, and hopefully we'll get it going here. Captain Bo has been great, and we're getting there very soon. I just wanted to give you the heads up. And as you know, there is an RFP that was let out last Friday for the landscape work that's to be occurring and between east of the Turnpike, between the Turnpike and 137.
Hooray.
For those of you that, for everyone to know. Okay? That is all I have, sir.
Okay. I'd like to reiterate that in June, the yard trash will only be picked up every other week. Now, will that be the first, second? How does that work?
If we'll have a schedule on the website, and all that information will be available.
And maybe we can put something out in the
Yes.
power bill, because I get asked that every day. So June is the date.
Yes,
Okay.
June 1st.
Thank you. Okay, Councilman Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to announce that I have one opening on the Homestead Community Image Board. If anybody's interested, they could send their information and to the clerk's office, and they would forward it to me, and we would love to have one more person sit on there with us. Thank the manager and staff. I've always thought that the water treatment plant maybe needed to be hidden. When it was built, it was on the outskirts of town, but now it's a major intersection over there. So through some nudging of mine and other people requesting, we've been able to plant shrubs all the way around, which will help to hide that. So I want to thank the manager and the staff for following through on that. I'd like to wish Patty, our assistant, a speedy recovery. She's still struggling with her illnesses, so Patty, get better. We'd like to see you back here. And one last thing, I'd like to thank Code Compliance and the manager and his staff also, and Development Services. One of the major complaints that I have from people on the east side that go up and down Kingman and that corridor over there every day is the signage, and really the illegal signage that's been put up by the developers and people trying to sell the homes. So we're slowly picking away at that, and we're going to get that taken care of. I think some of the stuff is slowly coming down. They're very hesitant in today's economy, but I think 5 or 6 years, however long most of that stuff's been up and is faded away, is plenty of time, and I think it's time that we clean that neighborhood up, and we're doing it, and just to let those people know that we are doing it. It's a struggle, but we're getting there. So hopefully by June 1st, that'll be cleaned up too. So thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Councilwoman Lobos.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item. On May 1st, 2010, I attended a Fabulous Women event put on by Annie Goyeb, and she's at a meeting tonight. Otherwise, I would have requested to have her being presented here at the council meeting. And what she did is, for the second year in a row, she had Beauty Schools of America come out to the homeless shelter, and she treated 22 moms to a day of beauty. And, you think by concept that it's a good thing, and then you see it in action, and you truly see what a day of beauty means to these moms and how proud they are to have their hair done, their makeup done. And so very encouraging for her to do this. I want to continue to encourage her onto a third year, and hopefully sometime in the future I'll get her here to the council. She's such a busy lady, volunteering all over the place. I know she's part of Kiwanis. And get here so that I can recognize her properly and acknowledge the work that she does. I know she doesn't do it for recognition, but it's nice to see that. And I know the homeless shelter is not technically within the city of Homestead, but it still services a lot of our residents. And so I do appreciate her for that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. Forgive me if with my hoarse voice here. I'm just recovering, so bear with me. First, I would like to request or do a follow-up to the city manager in reference to our public information officer. I would like to see, I know that you're working on it, but I would like to get staff report on that, and maybe get a date when we'll have a PIO officer. I think we definitely need that person in place, and there's a lot of opportunities that I would like to work with that PIO officer in reference to our channel, and so some programming set up. So if you could give me an update on that, I'd appreciate that.
Anything further?
Yes. In reference to, also, just for the city manager, if you could follow up with the resident that came over from Waterstone. He left his number and his information, and like I said, if you could follow up with him, find out what's going on over there, I'd appreciate that. As the education chair, I would like to request a follow-up from Charter School USA in the progress of the dorms conversion. I know that there's families that are hoping that it's finished by September, and would like to see what is the status on that, and then if we could have them come in and give us an update. I think it's due time. We have a few months away, so.
Yes, sir.
Also, in reference in the same issue, I would also like to find out on the intake process that we discussed. We had discussed in some preference to the Homestead. I don't know if legislatively, I know that we're lobbying for that. I don't know if it passed or not. Whether or not we need to look into that and make sure that we're able to. If it did pass, then let us know about it. If it didn't pass, I don't know if Richard, you know anything about that, and that we need to make sure we get.
They made a lot of progress with it. I do think that they really gave it a good effort, but it did not pass.
It did not pass. Okay, so we need to continue to work on that with them, and while we have them here, we can ask them the same question.
Yes, sir.
In reference to Captain Edbo, I don't know if we have a hotline that we're setting up for the hurricane season's coming up, and let's make sure we got a line going, that hotline going straight into his office. Any questions, concerns that he will be able to address them. Also, maybe we need to put some type of informational workshop for the residents of Homestead, and make sure that they're equipped and they have all the information that they need, and make sure he has all the resources and able to get that information to our residents.
One of the efforts that he's undertaking is the CERT program.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really going to involve a lot of these local communities and associations, and make it all work as one unit, and in that effort.
Ed, if you need any help, call me in. And finally, in reference to the education committee that was finally approved, we should be meeting within the next week or two. We're going to ask we're going to invite the superintendent and the business leaders in the community, and the schools, and all the representatives of the schools, and hopefully we'll have the meeting here in City Hall, and we'll be inviting them. So we'll start off with that initiative, and then we'll get straight to work. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Councilman Shelley.
I just have two quick things. The first is that there's a vacancy on the newly elected officials pension board. It requires a board member of 3. There's only 2 on it right now. So any resident that's interested in applying for that board, it's preferred that you have a financial background, but there is no other requirements other than that you be a resident, and submit your applications to the mayor, please. The other thing is I wanted to again reiterate something I brought up last council meeting, and that is to make sure that we stay on top of this downtown master plan, as far as working with Commissioner Sorensen's office on obtaining the funding that she offered to us a couple meetings ago. I want to make sure that we stay on that. If you have any progress to report, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, I do, if you'd like to hear it.
Yeah, please.
The Main Street, Yvonne Knowles and Robert Barnes met with, was the agency that was here, Dole?
Dolan, Richard Dover?
Dover. They had a lunch meeting with them, went over some different items, and then met with Katie Sorensen a week later. She did offer some funding. It's under discussion now, and they are moving forward.
Perfect. I'm glad to hear about that. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Wallman.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. I'll make this as quick as possible. We're still having bi-weekly meetings with Parks and Recs and customer service. With Parks and Recs, we're bringing everybody up to speed. We're talking about what we need to do, problems that Dennis has seen since he's been in office, and customer service. We're now into the commercial accounts, and I think you're going to be seeing a huge difference. I know that you are already seeing a huge difference in customer service because I've gotten the phone calls. So I appreciate all the work that both departments have done. I'm also facilitating, with the mayor's permission, I'd like to facilitate a meeting with the police and with the Parks and Recs department because summertime is nearing. We're already seeing the kids out of school getting out early, and the parks, we're going to have a problem. And I've already witnessed that firsthand the other day. So Chief Roll, Mayor, if that's all right, Chief Roll and Dennis and Mr. Manager, if you would contact me and we'll get a date that we're all available, and let's just sit down and have a nice long meeting and talk about what we're going to do. Because I want to prevent the problem before the problem happens. Okay? I met with the Villages of Homestead president, with the Homeowners Association, and with Julio Brea, our new assistant city manager. He was quite helpful. The board had several questions about the North Canal Road expansion and you know, the sidewalk, and Julio was just so helpful, and I wanted to thank him personally as to his direction and his comments. May has just been a tremendously busy month for me, as you saw during our presentations, and I just wanted to say just a quick word. Kudos to Christy Thompson. She put on the best Relay for Life. I mean, it was great. Everybody had a really nice time. And Mayor, with your permission, I'd like to honor her and her volunteers at the next council meeting. And I also wanted to thank Councilman Burgess's wife, Sherelle, for working so hard with the Save the Dog program. I attended their little yappy hour with my Molly suit. She should have won. She had on a pink polka dotted bikini. It was a beach party for dogs. But and also I wanted to say congratulations to the Children's Gallery. They're just doing such good work down there, just wonderful work. And if you have time, go into my office and see a beautiful picture that one of the children painted. And just want to remind everybody that this Saturday night, and when I'm done after this weekend, I'm done, so is our Texas Hold'em for the Little Angels, and that's at the Villages of Homestead. So if you want tickets, call me and I'll steer you to the right person. Thank you, Mayor, very much.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Williams.
Mayor, if you will indulge me in this, of course our fine great finance director came out with our second quarterly report, and I'd like to have her come in now and give her a short two-page paragraph on where we are to update all of us, if that's okay with the manager and the chair.
Just don't get into that 10 o'clock hour. Come on.
Mayor, Council, City Manager. As Councilman Williams stated, every quarter I post the budget to actual comparison schedule on the city's website. There's a little narrative that usually goes along with it. The attached schedule represents the unaudited results of operations as compared to the adopted budget through March 31st, 2010, utilizing information that was available at the time of this report and has been prepared on the cash basis of accounting. It should be noted that the annual budget has generally been divided equally into 4 quarters for purposes of this presentation. Actual cash flows do not necessarily follow this pattern of receipt or expenditure. Overall, the city is in a favorable position of $9 million as compared to budget at March 31st, 2010. The use of a portion of this amount is restricted for specific purposes. Excess proceeds of the general fund and the sports complex are generally unrestricted as to purpose.
All right. Kudos. Great job.
Thank you so very much, and we appreciate your diligence and the hard work that you and your staff do. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mayor, for that. The other piece is, and I know my fellow colleague, Vice Mayor Waldman, but I've got two parks in the southwest area that really needs to be looked at. And it is Blakely Park, because of the out there on the field, the grass is not conducive for games or anything of football, that kind of stuff, the field. And so with that respect, Mr. Manager and Vice Mayor Waldman, with Dennis, if you all would really check into that and see what it would take to get the appropriate grass and you know, all of that handles with, I guess, with the irrigation or so we can keep it up and nice. I've been getting a lot of persons asking about that. And then the other park is Taylor Park, right there on Lucy Street. I didn't even know it was a park. And Dennis told me today that it's the city's park. And so that we really need to look at that, because that park is, and the technical name is Taylor Colored Park. So we can look at that and the name too, because a lot of residents have come and asked me about that park. So if we can, Mr. Manager and your staff can check into that, that would be very, very good.
May I respond to Councilman?
Yes, please.
I checked on that park, Councilman, and I think it's owned by the county. That park, I believe, is owned by the county. Unless I was given the wrong information, but I'm pretty sure.
Vice Mayor, James Laurent talked to Councilman Williams, and then we were going to get together tomorrow to look into that, but I can find out for you.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure that it's owned by the county, but there's no reason why we as the city could go to Dade County and ask them either give it to us or do something, because I rode by there. It's a mess.
Yeah,
it needs help.
Follow up. Yeah, if we can, please, because it is located right behind the daycare, Layla Jean Daycare, I believe. And so, you know, it's a park that, from my understanding, the history of it, that persons used to, you know, utilize it, and they still do. But it is a sight on the eye. So if we can really look into that. The other piece is anytime, Mr. Manager, anytime that there's any work going on in the southwest area, and I know I've already talked with you about it and your staff, that you all will let me know as a courtesy, that because what happens is if something's going on one street, I'll get a call and somebody asking me what is going on. I can't articulate intelligently to tell them what is happening in my district. And so going forward, if we can, through memo or phone call or with projects that we're working on, and Dennis has been more appropriate too. Yeah. He has done a fantastic job in allowing it. But if the rest of the staff can follow suit, that would be very great, because I need to know what goes on in the southwest area, especially when I am the superintendent of that area through the people. Mayor, with you, I like to, there's been a lot of, and Vice Mayor Waldman touched on it, there's been a lot of issues or concern with some of our youth in the community. And I know it's something that we may have to look into, but we have a curfew on the books through Miami-Dade County. And there have been a lot of shootings and killings in my area and robberies. And these robberies are not by 21-year-olds. They're by 15, 14, 16-year-olds. And I know the county has an ordinance on the book for curfew. I know that that's your area mayor, the police. And so we need to look into that, because as I'm riding home, there are 10 and 11 and 12-year-olds out on the street, and most of them are committing the crimes in all of Homestead, not just the southwest area. But I'm sure, Vice Mayor Waldman, you may have some, I've heard the stories in the villages, and and so we need to crack down. And I met with the chief today, and he obliged, and I let the attorney look at the statute from Miami-Dade County. And if we can piggyback on that and really enforce the law, I don't know what it would take logistically, do that. But I'm real serious about cracking down on the curfew, because that's where most of your crime is taking place right now, because there's nothing to do. And at night they roam the streets, and so we need to make the parents accountable, and we can rid some of the crime that is going on. So, Mayor, I like to look at that and use some enforcements that the county already has. So it's nothing that we have to do but to crack down. And I've taken a ride with some of the officers, and they do, but not all the officers does it. And maybe we can utilize some of the community police, efforts that they got in place. But it really needs to be looked at, because a lot of crime is going on. Just the other day, a guy was robbed at gunpoint right there 2 streets over from me, from where I live. And it wasn't done by an older gentleman. It was done by kids. So we need to really look at that. And so we need to try to enforce the curfew hour. So I'll be bringing back some more stuff to help, with that, and if I'm needed. But we really need to look at it.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
I think that is the first meeting for the Southwest Advisory Committee. I'd like to announce will be in June. It'll be after, I guess, our council meeting, so it'll be probably the last week in June. So the next time I'll announce the specific date of such, but we will go ahead and start meeting. Thank you so very much, Mayor. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I just got a couple items, and I know everybody's always very patiently sitting there, and I'm always the last to speak. But I too have concerns with the new charter school, and my concerns are a little different than Mr. Maldonado's. One is I do echo him, and I want to know if they're on schedule and if this is going to really happen this school year. What really concerns me is, one, the local use. It seems like a constant tug of war to get this general contractor to engage with local subs. And I'd like to sit down with, not the contractor, the gentleman who stood before council and all the community when I said, will you use locals? And they stood up and applauded, because it's not happening. That's my first concern. So we need to get Jonathan back here. Mr. Hage, not the contract, not the GC, because the GC absolutely knew nothing about it, is what he played. The second thing is, yes, Richard, he acted like he knew nothing about it. What's up? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And I don't know how many contracts you've met on so far, yet if you remember what the deciding factor was you.
Yes.
You, the city manager, was to sit down anytime he could not engage with a local sub.
Yes.
How many times have you sat down? Once. Over irrigation. Overhead
3
sprinklers.
times.
And you've signed off on 3 subs that he's allowed to use outside Homestead? Because remember, this is city property, city building. It should be city people. And it seems like it's such a tug of war.
There have been differences and issues that have come up with the use of the locals, but from what and I understand that's something that we do need. I agree, Mr. Mayor, that we need to highlight constantly with them, and I think it's a good idea to bring the one that pitched the idea and that committed to it, but so far
it gets worse. I got more. The subs that they've brought forward, they just throw up contracts of whatever number they want to put on them. We need, at their expense, an estimator, a licensed estimator that says this electrical bid cannot be done at this amount. Because I'm hearing numbers of $80,000 difference, $100,000 difference. So somebody needs to look at it in a professional capacity and put a little bit of legitimacy to this thing, because I don't want to be duped. I don't want to sit here and offer up what I thought was an excellent opportunity for anyone and then be duped. It's just wrong. Last, the FOP may not have had a contract, may not have had a rental agreement, but they graciously vacated that building within 2 weeks, tore those counters apart, pulled out those coolers at their own sweat and blood. And to this date, the dollar amount offered by Mr. Hage is an insult. Is an insult. When they produced 4 times as much of what they spent is what he offered. And he stood right there and said, I'll help them make the move. What hasn't happened? It has not happened. So I don't know how strong that language is in the agreement, Richard, but we need to look into it. And if it's not in the language, I know it's in the video when he stood before us and said, I will help that happen.
I know that agreement well. There's no language in the agreement dealing with it. It was just his representation in front of the council to get this approved, because that issue sort of came up at the end, and it was not in the documents.
Well, it's
That
not
was
right.
a proffer that he made
It's not-
pertaining to the FOP.
It's not right. So I ask you to get more involved. And,
Yes, sir.
and not with the GC, because he's innocent. He's somebody they brought in, which wasn't supposed to happen, but they brought him in. We allowed it. They moved on. Now we need to bring him back to the table. Without stopping the project. I'm not saying that we're going to be the cause of it not opening in August. Because I can tell you, I have no idea how they're going to open in August. I've been in construction 30 years. They don't work Saturdays. They don't work Sundays. They don't work past 4 o'clock. And I see one big gutted empty building. So they can do it. I mean, I'm looking at the building official from Homestead and Florida City here. And I'm telling you, I don't know how they're going to do it, Wes. But maybe they know something we don't know. But I'm asking you to report back to council quicker than the next council meeting. As soon as you can, at one of our,
I will, sir.
special calls, or one of our before it, or one of our committee meetings, we need to talk about what's happening out there before we end up with egg all over our face and we all look at each other and say, what happened? We didn't get one status report. 3 months have gone by, not one status report at any council meetings or any committee meetings. All right, enough of that. In Dade County, I serve on the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization Board. I felt very honored. You sit with the county commission, and you're on this big dais up there, and you think, wow, man, look, I'm at the county commission, and they select me to go to this conference this weekend. They plug 16 hours, but the bottom line is you drive 10 hours to serve 16 hours of pretty intense work. So I really think that I felt so honored to get my little certificate. Really, they worked me pretty hard, I got to tell you. They worked me pretty hard. So anyway, I was there with people from around the state of Florida, and I will share with you, our problems are the same problems throughout the entire state of Florida. And that is how long it takes to get things done. And it starts out a big 20-year plan, 15, 10, so all I can promise and hope to tell the taxpayers is that as long as I serve on this board, I will plant the seeds. I may never see the crop harvest in my time, but I will plant the seeds. That's all I can say. Thank you very much. That's all I have. Anything further? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mayor.
If I could, just to echo on what you were talking about, I've heard many of the same complaints from local contractors and stuff too. And I know that we've got a special call or an executive session that we all answered to today. Is there any way that we could piggyback on that and have Mr. Haight show up that evening? Because I think the sooner the better. If we go, like you said, till the end of June and wait on this, a meeting, or at worst, the next committee of the whole meeting, I'd like to see that gentleman down here to answer the questions. So if the body would...
And even I hear you, and I echo. I would say even a step further is we need to get those contracts that you signed off on, that you allowed 3 different outside subs to come in, and we need to have somebody analyze those. We need to have somebody really do a cost breakdown. Cost analysis is not hard. Estimators are everywhere. I'm sure that I could call 1 or 2 of the big firms that would send an estimator down and do a cost analysis on what they bring forward. And have they actually showed you what contracts actually beat our local contractors out? They showed you. You put 2 right beside each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you felt
the ones that I have approved are local ones. But there has been, and we know there has been some dispute as to, to get to that point has taken us a lot of discussion.
In all honesty, and I shouldn't say this, if the job cost him 10% more here than it does someplace else, He's still got the shell and the property free. He's got to be ahead of the game. So I'm frustrated. Help me.
I'll bring you a report.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Mayor, before you close, I'm sorry. Mayor, is it possible then that, can we set a date and time tonight and have them to appear, so it doesn't get underneath, the rug does not get pulled from us? Richard, would that be in order?
You certainly can request that they be here and set a time, and I mean, I don't know the gentleman's schedule, but certainly you can pass a motion that he be requested.
Well, I think this is a very important issue, and I think that as gracefully as we have been for this project, I think at some point it calls for true transparency, and if that's what we ran on, then there should be some accountability to this. And so, Mr. Mayor, I'm willing to make a motion, because I hear your struggle in your what you're dealing with, and I think that we need to be able to get some answers. And so I'm willing to make a motion for a time and date that this person needs to appear before us so we can get some answers, because the longer we get put, and he's a fast talker, and so he needs to slow down, and we need to slow down this process and be very clear. And Richard, is there anything in the contract that maybe that probably has not has been breached so far, or because of the issues or concerns that the mayor has brought up?
I would have to look at that and speak to the manager as to what's happened. There was, in the final language that we used on the local preference, there was a lot of discretion left with the manager. And so we would have to see if there's certain cases where they're not complying with the contract language, then they could be in breach. But I don't really know, because I don't know what the facts are.
Okay. So my recommendation then, if I'm in order, Mayor, is to get a time and date tonight, and have a briefing. The manager needs to prepare direction. He needs to prepare a full briefing for each mayor and council person up here, so that we know where we are with the contracts that he has signed. Because we, of course, I don't have a copy of it, but if I'm in order, Chair, I like to make a direction to the manager that he provides a briefing of what thus far has happened since the contract has been signed. Is that okay, Mayor?
That's fine.
Okay, then the second thing is that I'd like to put a date and time, because this is a very valuable piece of property, and this is a lot of work and a lot of effort that has gone into this, and it calls for some accountability at this point. And so I'm willing to make a motion that we give ourselves maybe a week or so.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
We're all going to be here on May the 24th. Perhaps we could try something that afternoon after we get done with our executive sessions.
Okay. Well then, what time is our executive session?
4 o'clock.
At 5.
It's a special call.
So, it's 4, and then special call is at 5. And so for working people, I'd like to make a motion that we convene maybe at 7. Is that too late? Or 6? I mean, I want to make it advantageous for the people, so that they would know. So can we say 6, since we're already going to be here? Is that Mayor, is that okay?
It's okay with me.
Okay, so it gives him about, 2 weeks to get his stuff straight?
1 week. 1 week.
Yeah, hopefully
1
sign
week.
some local contracts.
Well, I'm willing to fight, because I think part of that we have given him needs to be accountable. And so you can't come in here fast talking and think you're going to get the whole pie. So, May 24th. Mayor, I offer that motion that we...
I'll second that.
All right.
Thank you. Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, staff, local,
Mr.
public,
Mayor?
future judge. Yes, sir.
Just one note, I forgot to mention, and I'm sure you all have seen it, the tanks at the water treatment plant
Yeah, they're gone.
are almost gone. We're about a week to be done with our project, and
God.
I think Julio is actually thinking of turning that into a potting. But whatever it ends up being, it's going to be looking a lot nicer. So it's finally there. Just wanted to mention that.
We just want to reiterate and re-welcome Elizabeth Sewell, our city clerk. I know we did it at a workshop or a COW, but now officially at our first council meeting. Welcome, Madam Clerk. Okay.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you. Second? Okay, adjourn.